Welcome to the Elizian Aeon, a higher perspective. I'm your host Liz James, and in this episode we'll examine the truth about why so many of us get lost and feel disempowered to begin with, without calling to action, blaming or offloading, and not finger pointing either. Just the plain truth. We live in a very narcissistic society, and narcissism has become prevalent and deeply harmful. Our individual expression has been wounded in many aspects, even if we aren't quite ready to see the full extent, but this is part of shadow work and regaining autonomy and our sovereignty. So let's look at some of the ways narcissism manifests and how to reclaim autonomy over your perception and physical experience with a higher perspective. Most people think toxic relationships break you overnight, but true psychological manipulation doesn't look like an explosion. It looks like a slow, deliberate erosion. If you're an empathetic, giving person, you don't fall for a monster, you fall for a mirage. Today we're breaking down the exact 12-step cycle of narcissistic abuse, from the very first hook to the final chilling discard. So you can recognize the pattern, validate your reality, and understand exactly how good people can get trapped. The love bomb initiation is step one. It begins with the love bomb. The narcissist doesn't target the weak. They're intensely attracted to open, loving, confident, independent individuals. But right alongside the praise, they play the martyr, the victim. They constantly drop hints that they've been burned before, whispering about how they doubt they'll ever be able to trust anyone or love anyone again. Soon the story begins to change. They start subtly getting hurt and upset about small things, claiming that they're triggers from previous relationships and wounds. They ask for your patience. They beg you to avoid things that make them feel insecure, like maybe certain friendships, social situations, or independent hobbies. Subtly, they make you feel guilty or useless for your financial independence or social life. The empath begins bending their lifestyle to accommodate them. You tell yourself that they'll become more secure over time if you just reassure them enough. You downplay the red flags, vowing not to exaggerate. You do your part, fully expecting to be met in the middle once you have demonstrated absolute reliability. Then this is where reality twists. The narcissist begins actively rewriting history and projecting their own flaws onto you. They deny things they clearly said, claiming you're remembering it wrong or acting crazy. Suddenly they accuse you of the exact toxic behaviours they're committing, the lying, controlling, or being unfaithful, throwing you into a state of constant, chronic self-doubt. Then comes the guilt loop and the threat of separation. Eventually the empath hits a wall where they feel that they can't continue, and you decide it's best to just leave. But the moment you try to end it, the narcissist flips a switch. They display intense, overwhelming emotions, make grand declarations, or even threaten their own demise. They unleash a massive guilt trip, that they were right never to trust anyone, that they were unworthy of love. They love you too much to let go. They beg desperately for one more chance. Then it goes to the escalation. So the cycle continues indefinitely, but each time, new layers of manufactured insecurity are added. The narcissist weaponizes the past, layering on immense guilt over how you hurt them or tried to abandon them. You find yourself chronically over-explaining your everyday actions. You're now required to beg for forgiveness for things you didn't even do. Your personal boundaries are completely eroded. Just as you reach your absolute breaking point, the narcissist suddenly sprinkles in random affection, praise, or glimpses of the original love bomb phase. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. This unpredictable reward system creates biochemical addiction in your brain. You become trauma bonded, staying trapped in the darkness while constantly chasing the next brief, unpredictable high. The next step is the reactive abuse trap. The narcissist systematically baits, provokes, and manipulates you behind closed doors until you finally snap and yell back in intense frustration. The exact second you react, the narcissist highlights, records, or weaponizes your outburst. They use your reaction as absolute proof to you and to others that you are the truly toxic, abusive, and unstable one. To keep control, they must cut your lifelines. They manipulate situations to prove that your friends and family are the real problem. They claim your family uses you, complains constantly, or makes them feel uncomfortable. Over time, you start reaching out to your loved ones. You become completely isolated, depending entirely on your abuser for your safety and reality validation. The next step, they work on capturing your work, your finances, and your career, which becomes a target under the guise of trying to help. They might sabotage your professional opportunities, convince you to quit or take control of your shared assets. This ensures you're stripped of the practical and financial means to survive independently. Long before the relationship officially ends, the narcissist quietly builds a web of lies outside the home. They paint a twisted version of events to mutual friends, family and co-workers, positioning themselves as the long-suffering victim of your instability. When the final crash happens, your support system is already gone. You've been erased from your own life. The final discard. Once you're completely drained of emotional energy, financial resources and compliance, the narcissist suddenly drops you with a chilling cold indifference. You're completely discarded. But the cycle isn't always over there. If you manage to leave first, or if they run out of attention, they will circle back months or even years later. They'll utilize the exact same manipulation, victimhood, and begging tactics from step 5 to restart the entire process. If you've lived through this, hear this clearly. You're not crazy. You were systematically dismantled by a predictable psychological script. The empathy that was weaponized against you is still your greatest strength. It just needs to be protected by unbreakable boundaries. The only way to win this game is to stop playing. And this is why we're here today. By dismantling these beliefs, as an empath or super empath, we often feel that it's within our duty to constantly provide love, to forgive, to correct, to give second chances, and we forget that we have to give ourselves empathy too. This is what allows a narcissist, a person who truly doesn't have the same capacity for empathy as we do, to get away and to use these things to their advantage. Let's flip the script on this. And remember, the power that you hold is yours and yours alone. The moment that you allow yourself the belief that you are good enough, that you have boundaries, and that whatever anyone else is demanding from you, you may demand from yourself, is the moment that you break the cycle. I hope this helps. In further videos, we'll be looking more into these concepts and about re-empowering yourself after narcissistic abuse.